what has to happen for Manny to win, and then what has to happen for Tony to win?
Well, I think for Manny Sobral, I believe he may have some better skill than Tony Badea. I think what Manny is going to have to do is increase the skill factor, decrease the luck factor, and fight really hard when Tony Badea wants to box. When Tony Badea wants to box, go ahead and fight. So switch it up like that, and Badea is really going to have to, I think, mount a very credible offense, hopefully to turn the heat up on Sobral for any chance in this fight. It's going to be an interesting go.
So tempo is a big part of this fight.
Yeah, tempo has a lot to do with it. It's going to be who sustains the momentum for a duration of time, several rounds at a time, and it's up in the air, completely up in the air. What a great match.
We see it, we've heard it said, that this is the boxer against the puncher. Is that too simple?
I think what a wonderful fight this is, because, John, what you have here is you have two attractions and you have close odds. That's what you need for not only a boxing fight, but an event. This has become an event, John.
And the music says that we're headed to an event. Tony Badea in the ring, bouncing around. Manny Sobral is getting all kinds of volume as he comes in. Scott, does this help a fighter?
I don't think it really helps or hinders any fighter. I think sometimes the music can be a big pickup for a fighter at times, and it can be used as a benefit. But I don't think having a fighter wait in the ring for any length of time, I don't think psychologically it does anything.
Does it cool you out a little bit if you've been working hard to get ready in the ring?
No, not if you're a smart fighter and have a smart trainer with you. Like Tony Badea is waiting a little bit for Manny Sobral, but with Jerome Coffey, he's such a great trainer, and Tony's a smart fighter. He's still bouncing, staying warm, and staying prepared so that when Manny Sobral does come in the ring, he won't have cooled off.
You heard the records. They're on the screen for you, ladies and gentlemen. Manny Sobral, 23 wins, no losses. Tony Badea, 18 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Sobral is 29 and Badea is 23. Does that make any difference, the age?
I think it's pretty darn comparable. I don't see any problem in their ages. I think Manny, his experience in the amateur days is a little bit more extensive than Tony Badea's. I don't think their age will be a factor at all in this fight.
Tony, however, was also a credible amateur. Manny fought several times internationally for Canada and defeated some of the great amateurs at his weight class. But Tony Badea was a member of the Romanian national junior team, and he was an outstanding amateur too.
Oh, thank you for enlightening me there, John. I wasn't quite aware of that, but that's a little bit of insight that you boxing people know. You see, you are a lot better than you're a hell of a commentator, that's for sure.
And I want to know this too. Jerome Coffey has worked with you. Your style and Tony Badea's style not necessarily the same. You got the short arms, and you have to walk forward to be aggressive, to be effective. Can Jerome Coffey, as the trainer, teach both styles? Can he be as effective with Tony Badea as he was with you?
Possibly even more so. He's Jerome Coffey, as a fighter, never really fought much on the inside, but he's able to teach me how to fight on the inside and box. And with Tony Badea, he can teach Tony Badea how to do what Jerome did best, and that's box. Box and go ahead and set himself into position for some hard punches.
And the question of durability comes into it. Badea's only loss, he was stopped here by Fitz Vanderpool, and he rather obviously ran out of gas in several fights. Rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, or 8, 9, 10, have been difficult ones for Tony Badea. How does a fighter overcome that?
Well, I think mentally it may play a bit of a factor, but I know Tony Badea has gone through a tremendous training program with Jerome Coffey. I honestly feel that these rounds, both fighters are in tremendous condition. I don't believe that any fighter in this fight, with the kind of intensity and the focus placed on such a match, both fighters have come to fight, and they'll fight till there are no more bells, and I don't really believe that either one will be hindered in any way as a result of their conditioning.
Does either fighter have to take control right out of the way? You heard Manny Sobral say that he's going to do whatever's necessary. He says it's not necessary that I take control, but if the chance comes early, I'm going to take it. Does Badea have to come out and declare some territory?
I think it's very important for both fighters to establish control of the fight, whether it's on the outside or the inside. You know, they're going to have to go ahead and try to establish something fairly quick and try to maintain that throughout the fight. And what wonderful thing is going to happen with this fight, I feel this fight will seesaw. It'll go back and forth a little bit, and it'll make for a wonderful, wonderful fight for the fight fans to see, and it'll be a tremendous fight for both of their careers.
We get a chance to watch them put the gloves on in the ring, and once again, for those who believe that this cools a fighter out, you've had it done that way. Does that make any difference?
It sure does. I think it breaks up your momentum a little bit. You've just gotten warmed up for your fights. You're all warmed up, ready to go. You get into the ring, you're all pumped up. Well, then you have to get your gloves on. I think it's really a detriment. I don't see that as being a good rule at all. Nothing that should really be enforced in Edmonton, and I'm sure that Edmonton will soon, if not immediately after this fight, go ahead and put the gloves on inside the dressing room.
The interesting thing, I talked to Nelson Kitchen, who's the corner man, of course, for Sobral. I talk often with Jerome Coffey, and they're as confident as any trainer has ever been in this fight, each of them.
Both of them, both camps have tremendous confidence in this match.
This contest has been sanctioned by the Canadian Professional Boxing Federation.
Ron Hayter, president. The official supervisor is Jack Chris, chairman of the CPBF Championships Committee. The referee for the match, Mr. Don Smart. And the judges are Ken Rudd, Billy Warwick, and Ken Newman. The timekeeper is Bob Blacklock, and the knockdown timekeeper is Ed Pearson. The scoring will be done on a 10-point system. Batten down the hatches. It's time for a little thunder! In the red corner, the IBO Intercontinental Champion, Never Say Die World Championship potential, with a record of 15-1-1, 11 by knockout, Tony Bad Boy Badea. In the blue corner, 1988 Olympian, defeated the reigning world amateur welterweight, Canadian junior middleweight champion. He has never lost, with a record of 23-0. Ladies and gentlemen, Manny the Teacher Sobral.
Scott Olson, I feel a little bit the way I felt before some of your fights. I get really nervous too.
What anticipation. What a tremendous event. Hats off to Jerry Gilroy for putting this show together and for the fighters for taking this fight. A fight like this can't happen without both camps taking part and agreeing to it. They have, and it's on. Nothing left to do it but to fight.
Winner take all for $25,000, Scotty. We got to talk about that a little later. Right now we wait for the bell and round one. Tony Badea in the black without a stripe. Manny Sobral with his name on the belt and a white stripe on his trunks. And they're going at it, ladies and gentlemen. Sobral a little busier to start. Right hand to the body by Sobral, ducks under a jab, gets behind Badea, and spins him into the ropes. Once again, the left jab by Sobral.
Yeah, Manny has definitely started a little bit quicker. He started quicker, bobbing and weaving, going ahead and throwing a few really hard shots, trying to establish himself in the fight early.
A pretty good right hand uppercut on the break, and the fundamentals of Manny Sobral may tell the story early.
You know, they both box very well. They both can punch. They're both strong fighters. But the one thing is that this is like two cars on a head-on collision. I feel that the indicative factor in this fight is the one who has the best bumper. The car who has the best bumpers might win this fight.
Two left hooks by Sobral. One lands and the other doesn't. Badea hasn't found a range yet with the jab. I've never seen Badea in a bad fight.
Well, he's a very exciting fighter, and Manny has never been in a snoozer either. It's such a wonderful thing when you see athletes at this stage of their careers in such a tremendously close fight. Very close odds in this one.
Did that right hand land, Scotty, or did it land on Badea's glove?
It might have been just a bit of a slider. May not have landed too flush.
Good left hook by Badea. Good right hand by Sobral.
John, this is shaping up to be one heck of a battle.
It really does. There's not much in the first round. Sobral a little quicker with the hands, a little busier, but not much.
What's happening in this fight is what I love to see in some of the super fights. With this fight, sometimes in super fights, in large fights, both fighters give each other too much respect. That's not happening. This is really turning into an interesting battle.
Well, each of these men, and I've talked to both of them often in the last couple days, each of these men really is confident. They both believe they can win. With $25,000 to the winner and nothing to the loser, if you don't believe you can win, you don't take the fight, Scotty.
That is true. That is true, John.
Round one comes to a conclusion. Manny Sobral comfortably back to his corner, and already on the stool across the ring is Tony Badea, and he's hearing from his trainer and yours, Jerome Coffey. A little flashback to round one, and again a lot of activity by Sobral, but none of those punches, it seemed to me, Scott Olson, landed cleanly.
Nothing too clean, but I feel that Manny's strength showed there in the last round. He started to establish a bit of a strength factor, started to kick in, and but Badea came back and landed a few quality shots of his own, and but nothing of real big consequence in that last round.
It's always impressed me to watch Manny Sobral in the corner between rounds, because his focus, his concentration, on the words of trainer Nelson Kitchen, is astonishing.
Both very intelligent fighters, and they both have very good quality trainers. And with Badea having Jerome Coffey in the corner with him, that's definitely an asset. Nelson Kitchen has done a great job with Manny Sobral, and they both listen to their instructions.
Once again, a lot of flurry of activity, and not much happening in terms of actual punches landing.
Manny's trying to establish his jab now. He's moving side to side, not being a stationary target right in front of him.
He took a pretty good right hand as he moved in. It didn't move him, but it was a pretty good shot.
He sure did, and Tony Badea really...
and another right hand by Badea.
Tony Badea has found a bit of a home for the right hand early.
Good shot to the body, left hand to the body by Sobral.
Sobral landed a beautiful left uppercut in that exchange, and it picked the head up of Badea. That may be a punch that Manny Sobral will be using with effectiveness. There's a lot at stake in this fight, isn't there, John?
It's an amazing thing that fighters would take a crossroads fight like this each of them has got a chance to move on, but only one of them is going to go very quickly, Scotty, after this.
Yeah, the winner of this fight is definitely going to move on to some very large things in the future. But the loser, I don't think, is going to be, in fact, the loser at all. I believe they both win in this fight, of course not financially, but the loser of this fight, I think, will still be a viable factor in their respective division.
Good left hand underneath by Badea. Sobral comes forward, but a beautiful left hand underneath by Tony Badea.
Well, Manny was able to take a pretty good shot there. Badea landed a couple quality shots, and Manny Sobral actually took them and is coming back now.
That shot looked like it landed to the body, but it was taken mostly on the elbow of Tony Badea. Same applied to both of those punches. Left hook blocked by Badea.
What's happening? Manny Sobral is committing himself, being the aggressor, coming forward. He is initiating the punches. Badea is waiting, sitting back, trying to be defensively minded, but trying to crack Manny on his way in with a big right hand and a left hook to follow. And he's being a little bit successful this round at it, John.
It's an interesting fight. It's a question of styles and not too much respect, as you say. They don't like each other at all. They're both being warned for a little hassle after the bell, Scotty. That happens quite often. It's not such a big deal, really.
No, it means these both fighters want it. They go ahead and they stare each other down. I've done that in numerous fights before, and it gives a little bit of entertainment value for the fans watching as well. And both fighters, they want to go to work.
And pretty good, just a little short with a right hand by Badea that looked better at first than as we've just seen it. Another flashback to round 2, and pretty good left hook by Badea, another left hook, and this is just at the end of the round, and these guys were angry at each other, which is not a bad thing for guys as long as we're not in the middle. There's a little marking around Badea's eye, not cut yet, but puffy, and will that be a factor? Who knows? He has a history of cutting in the eyebrow, doesn't he, Scotty?
Yeah, both fighters have had a history of cutting over the eyes, and hopefully that doesn't become a factor in this fight. I'd hate to see a fight like this get stopped due to a cut. Both fighters deserve to have this to go a lot of rounds and to both put on great performances.
Tell me about the kidney punching. Sobral does it. It's experience. He gets Badea exposed and whacks him in the kidneys. I've seen a lot of fighters do it. What's the effect of it?
Well, it can kind of slow you down in the later rounds, that's for sure. You're hitting a vital organ when you're hitting the kidneys or the liver, sometimes the heart for that matter. But Badea was getting a little bit red on the sides of his body, which means that Sobral was getting in some of those shots.
That's a pretty good shot to the midriff by Manny Sobral. And the big left hand against Tony Badea.
I think that shot just got Badea's attention, John.
Yeah, I think so too. It looked for a second that Badea's right hand was going to get home, but it did not. Sobral blocked it with his own glove.
They're exchanging some very good blows here, but I really feel Sobral's getting the best of it right now, John.
That's the feeling I have too, Scotty, that Sobral landing cleaner punches, good right hand high on the head.
And those are the kind of shots that land on the eye like that. That could open a cut for Badea.
Tony's in a little trouble. The experience of Manny Sobral certainly is showing right at this moment.
One factor that's very important here, John, is that Tony Badea has been accustomed to seesaw battles. He's been back and forth. When things didn't go his way, he's sometimes come back and put on excellent performances. So this is going through adversity in fights he's sort of been accustomed to, and I'm not so sure. Manny has had some really quality fights.
Manny just took two good shots, an uppercut and a straight right hand, This is a war.
What a fight, John.
Another right hand by Badea. Somebody is creating a little problem in the corner for Jerome Coffey. Jerome is getting a little intense, and I think a spokesman for the Edmonton Boxing and Wrestling Commission is kind of cautioning him. I hope that's not the case. I've always thought that this rule against coaching from the corner is vastly overdone, I think.
I believe so. I think that the coaches should be able to, the trainers should be able to yell whatever they want. I mean, what's it going to do? All you're really doing is telling the other fighter what your fighter is going to do, and it does nothing. It doesn't bother the crowd. There's no noise pollution there. That was a good uppercut by Tony Badea, but what a wonderful round that was. I'm not sure who I'd give that one to. It was a seesaw kind of a round.
Well, we've come to the end of three of them. Manny Sobral cut inside his mouth, as you can see, as the mouthpiece just put back in. He's up on his feet, ready to go. And Tony Badea enjoying a couple of extra seconds rest. And Sobral missed a right hand and took a right hand in exchange.
Yeah, Sobral's actually, his nose was bleeding, John. He must have got clocked on the nose a little bit hard.
And he just took a big left hook. Manny Sobral took the biggest punch of the fight. And stood there.
And took it very well. That's an attest. That is a tribute to both of these fighters' conditioning. Manny wouldn't have taken that shot if he wasn't in tremendous condition.
And we've all heard the story. It's generated by Tony Badea's camp that Manny Sobral can't take a punch. Well, you're not going to prove it based on what's happening in this fight.
No, when it's a winner take all, you're going to take all the punches you need to. I know I would be.
But Badea showing some poise, as you say, under pressure. He kind of draws back within himself and then fires back with something. He's just taken 3 left jabs and comes back with a couple of his own. And Badea takes a right hand and goes in and ties up Sobral. It's a pretty good scrap. Each of them in black trunks. Manny Sobral has the white stripe. Tony Badea's black trunks are black. His name, Tony, is visible on the leg. And, of course, Manny's name is visible on the belt line as he moves forward toward the camera.
Manny's been a little bit susceptible to the right hand like he was there.
Again, he took a right hand.
His left hand is dropping a little bit while he's throwing the jab. He throws the jab, brings it down a little bit too low, leaving him a bit susceptible. He's going to have to keep that up to block if he wants to get into the later rounds in this one.
And you wonder if the right hand starts to take effect, because the mortar starts to crumble. I don't care how good your chin or how good your conditioning.
It's a good point, John. Very good point.
Badea just took a big right hand and didn't show much.
This fight is living up to all the expectations. It's a wonderful event.
And it is good old our side against mean old their side in the eyes of the crowd, both these fine young men. But you can hear the chant, Tony, 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 from the Edmonton fans, the Edmonton public.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are cheering for Tony Badea, that's for sure. He has a good following here in Edmonton. But that probably means that just the fans of Manny Sobral, which he does have some, they're not yelling too hard. And Sobral was just hurt with that shot.
He was hurt, his knees buckled, and he stepped forward and held on. And we do know that Badea's got power. Can he do it with one shot? Probably not. And Sobral has been a great fighter. He doesn't get hit with many combinations, but he's been wobbled in this fight now. Jerry Gilroy, the promoter, the manager of Manny Sobral, sitting next to us. He may be the most intense man in the building, and he's done a very good job of not letting his feelings show.
I thought I had some tension when Rupert Thomas was fighting. Jerry Gilroy, he's really being quite composed at this point for the pressure he's probably feeling.
just a little nick on the nose of Tony Badea. And Manny Sobral, as you say, is bleeding slightly from the nose. And that was a pretty good right-hand uppercut that was landed by Badea. And we're in a situation where it's hard to say who's winning this fight. And as we head to, I guess, round 4, time flies when you're having fun, Scotty.
Sure does.
Round 5, that's where I can't even count. Tell me who's winning the fight, my friend.
I have it fairly even, but of course Tony Badea, I believe, did enough in that round to win that one. But each round has been very competitive, neither really favoring either fighter.
Badea's right hand lands again, and then Sobral comes back with 3 jabs. It's the old story. It's the power against the frequency, Scotty.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the judges to score this one. Very difficult. I'm having a hard time. I've been in the boxing game for 15 years. You've been in the boxing game for about 50. So, yeah.
Oh, what a nice man you are. Thank you, Scott. I've certainly enjoyed being around the game, as you know.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons you have these brave, tough, well-conditioned athletes. And they're fighting with their hearts as much as with their bodies. It's wonderful.
Well, both fighters are starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. You know, Manny went back after that last round. He was bleeding from the nose, and he wanted to try to come back harder in this round. And Badea is throwing some really hard shots, but he has a little bit of redness over his eyes as well.
And Badea just landed a right-hand uppercut as Sobral came in. But there's no territory in this fight. Both guys are right hand to the body by Sobral, a left hand to the body by Badea as they move forward. And the referee Don Smart, suggests that the 2 fighters should watch their heads. Badea's better defensively than I've seen him.
They both carry very, very exceptionally good skills, and they both can crack. And whoever lands the best shots in a series of punches may be the one who wins this fight. It's a very, very even fight all the way around. But for Manny Sobral, he still is dropping that left hand a little bit, and he's getting hit with the right hand. For getting hit with the right hand, keep the left hand up. And sure enough, Badea is going ahead and throwing the right hand. He's landing it with effectiveness.
And Badea did a good job there getting down below the punches of Sobral. And that's hard for a tired fighter to do. So Tony's still got some energy.
Yeah, I don't think conditioning will be a factor in this fight at all. They're both in top condition. They both trained well. They're both at a peak for this. They really peaked for this, and it's really going to come down to whoever's landing the better shots and more effective shots. But I think we still have quite a bit of fighting left to figure that out.
And they're still doing some tugging and hauling on the inside. It's at times, Scotty, a war of strength.
Yeah, I think when these fighters are on the inside, there's a little bit of muscling going on, and neither fighter wants to give an inch. But I think in the last couple rounds, Manny Sobral has opted to use the ring a little bit more, stay on the outside a little bit more. When he charges in, though, he's keeping his left hand down low, and he's being susceptible to a few counter punches by Tony Badea. So if you're on the outside, why not wait for Tony Badea to commit and counter him back? But I'm sure Sobral's corner will go ahead and figure that one out.
A perfect indication as we look into the replay of exactly what happened. There was a lot of tugging and hauling, and both fighters showing exceptional respect to the other. Once again, awkward moves in the center of the ring.
And here we have Manny Sobral starting this round by coming forward.
And we're here for round 6. Badea is moving backwards ever so slightly, takes a jab, takes another jab, and then steps 2 jabs of his own.
I also noticed that Manny is sort of moving into Tony Badea's right hand. That may be one of the factors why it's been a bit effective. Manny may be better off slipping over to his right, which would take some of the power away from Badea's right hand.
Badea took a shot high in the head, and it might hurt him a little bit.
I like to think, John, that some of my fights were exciting to watch, but this has to be the best fight Edmonton has seen in a lot of years.
I don't know, Scott. I've seen you in some great ones. This is a great fight because of the quality of the fighters and the fact that there's a strong local connection with both of them. Good uppercut landed by Badea in the middle of the ring.
That may have opened a cut over Badea's eye. There's a little bit of blood on the bridge of Badea's nose.
There was earlier, Scotty, blood on the nose. It may not have changed. It may not have changed, but we'll find out in a few seconds. Now Tony's saying he was butted. He's angry. He's probably been cut. You're right, and he's been badly cut now.
I really think he is cut over the right eye.
Yeah, the eye's cut badly now. Like all outstanding fighters, Manny Sobral is a great front runner.
I don't know if that was a headbutt or if it was a right uppercut from Manny Sobral.
Tony has called for the doctor, and it's a severe cut. The picture shows clearly it's a severe cut.
For a fight of this magnitude, what should happen is the doctor should let it continue, give the corner an opportunity to close it up in between rounds.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. The doctor, if you can read the facial expression, it's not a... yeah. It's a bad cut. High over the eyebrow. And Tony's discouraged now. I mean, bad cuts do that. Scott, you weren't cut, haven't been cut in your pro career, but Sobral has momentum on his side now.
When you cut another fighter, when you see another fighter getting cut, it gives you an extra couple rounds of energy, and Sobral is really starting to put on the pressure on Badea right now.
Tony is very discouraged right at the moment.
And after this round, Badea's corner is going to have a little bit of work to do on that eye.
Yes. And I believe it was a punch, as you do, Scotty, that opened it, and we can certainly hope that's the case.
I thought it was an uppercut from Manny Sobral. But unfortunately for Badea, the cut is high over his eye, and it's not on his eyelid, causing it to impair his vision too severely.
And the fans are going slightly wild here at the Mayfield Convention Center. And you get a good look at the cut. Now, how much is in the eye? What vision does Badea have? We'll know better. It's really quite a slice, but it may not be deep, Scott.
It's quite a slice there, John. It really is quite a slice. But I think that he also has a slight nick on the side of his eye. Neither one are really causing it to be a factor in this fight. And for this fight to be stopped because of a little nick, this is a professional fight. They're bound to get cut every once in a while.
It was a butt.
It was.
It was a butt. And that you can see the butt happen on the replay. It was a butt.
It looked like Badea was the one going forward.
He was moving
at that
forward,
time.
and Sobral's head came up, and it was an accidental butt. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And that would explain why Tony reacted the way he did. He reacted like he was in pain rather than having been punched. He was shocked by the pain of the collision.
Yes, John, I've been in there quite a number of times. Tremendous right hand puts Sobral
right
down.
hand to the chin. Badea, Sobral is now we're back in the fight.
That was tremendous conditioning by Manny Sobral. He got right back up.
And they're both going to fight, guys. It was as good a right hand as I've ever seen a professional at this weight deliver in this town, Scotty.
The crowd chants Tony.
And he wobbled him with another right hand and another right hand. Sobral is seriously hurt. Wonderful condition. He's up. His eyes are not clear as he moves forward. He is not in very good shape. He's getting a long time from Del Smart. One more knockdown and we're done, folks.
There's a lot of time left remaining in this round, too.
There has to be a minute and a half left, Scotty, minimum. The heart of Manny Sobral, right here for everybody to see it. He has nothing left in his punches or in his legs.
Manny is showing tremendous heart staying up from
these shots. He really is. He took another right hand uppercut. He take another right hand and another right hand and another. This is getting to be difficult to watch. Now it's Badea with incredible confidence. This has been a remarkable fight.
If Manny Sobral is able to weather this storm, Tony Badea may be in a bit of an oxygen debt.
It's an impossible fight to score at this point. It's a great fight. A wonderful example of two brave men. Badea has blood on his face, and Sobral is in pain and in desperate strait, still has no legs.
Sobral is bouncing a little bit more. What tremendous conditioning by both fighters. I believe Tony Badea may have punched himself out a little bit in that last round.
I thought he punched himself out. We will see it again, but this is an incredible fight. There's enough water on Manny Sobral. Tony Badea's eye is not dripping blood at the moment, and they just poured water on it. So the work has been done on the eye. He's got some vision in the eye, clearly. Sobral doesn't look good. He's cut too. Maybe in his hairline, but not near the eye.
He's bleeding down the side. I think he may be cut high on the back of his head, bleeding down the side of his neck there.
Or in the ear, maybe. But an incredible right hand put him down, and. So that's got to be a three-point round for Badea, and Sobral had won the previous two rounds. And this is crazy. Both corners are wiping up the repair work.
They splashed the cold water on both fighters just to try to wake them up.
With Niagara Falls in each corner.
This is a fight, John. Tony is a little bit tired right now, and Manny Sobral has weathered the storm.
And he knows what he has to do.
What an interesting fight.
After this round, assuming we've got something after this round, we'll get a chance to talk about punching yourself out, because I'm sure you've done it, Scotty.
I sure have, John, and it's a pretty scary feeling. You have to rely on your defensive abilities for a while. And what Tony Badea is doing is sitting down, blocking some shots, trying not to overdo it by punching too much, pacing himself. But Sobral looks like he's pretty much fully recovered from that last round.
But he does know he can be hurt. That's the thing that he wasn't sure of before.
Yeah, we now know that Tony Badea can get Manny into some serious trouble. Although early in the fight I saw Manny Sobral hurt Tony Badea.
Yes, and that shot to the body hurt Badea.
Yeah. And when you're tired, it's those body shots that really, really take its toll at that time.
This is the question that I know Robin Brownlee of the Edmonton Journal has mentioned all week long. What about the fact that Badea runs out of gas late in fights? He has done it. You've seen him do it.
Well, if he wasn't tired after that last exchange, there's something wrong. You know, after that last round, he should have been dead tired. He came, now he's pacing himself, and we're going to see if Manny Sobral can work himself back into this fight.
Manny just landed a pretty good right hand, and he's been scoring with the jab.
Very good right hand. But maybe he's playing a little bit of possum, but it was such a bad round in the round before this last one. Came back and mounted a good offense. What a great performance by both guys.
And see, as we look, there's a pretty good right hand by Badea, and Sobral is busier in the round, wins the round, I think, rather clearly. But right at the moment, with Sobral having been knocked down twice, that's normally classed as a three-point round, I believe. That gives Badea a point or two to work with as we go into the final 3 rounds of this fight.
These are the championship rounds, John.
Tony's a tired puppy. Badea is being outsmarted at the moment. The quicker feet of Manny Sobral are making a big difference. They're not wrestling quite the same way they did, Scotty. They're quite content to lean into that clinch now.
Yeah, they're a little bit fatigued, but they still have quite a high work rate. And right now, I think Manny Sobral is just trying to maintain the fight, and maintain his little bit of aggression. He landed a good right hand, came back with a hook. A little bit more effective with the right hand.
A good right hand by Sobral. And then a punch from behind as the referee was breaking him. It's a fight. I get the feeling in this case that Badea is playing just a little possum. He'd like to get Sobral walking in carelessly.
What Badea is doing, which he did the last round, was he didn't do much for the early part of the round, but he came on a little bit strong. He's trying to steal the round at the end, and that's what some of the best fighters, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, they all did that. And Badea, I think, is going to try to steal this round right at the end with a good flurry of punches.
But the intensity is overwhelming. Now they're slipping around in there because the ring is very damp.
A lot of water on the canvas, John. A lot of water.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can cause a lot of trouble. Put you out of position to get hit with a big shot.
Big right hand by Manny Sobral in the corner right above us. Manny does look like he's much fresher at the moment.
Yeah, Manny Sobral does look very fresh. Actually, even though he's been down twice, Tony Badea looks like he's a little bit the worse for wear.
But Sobral just took a pretty good right hand and labored to answer back with a hook.
What a treat for Edmonton boxing fans.
Big right hand again by Manny Sobral. Left hook by Badea, and once again, Badea claims he was butted as Sobral lunged into the corner.
Sobral is jumping in with the left hook, and he's leaving himself a little bit vulnerable for a counterpunch from Badea still. But he may have clashed a little bit of a headbutt there, but it wasn't anything of significance. But Tony Badea, being the consummate professional he is, he just went and reminded the referee, listen, this is a fight, the guy might be headbutting me a little bit, just remember to take a look.
But this is 9 rounds complete. We look into the corner of Tony Badea, and his nose is cut, his eye is cut badly above and noticeably below. Manny Sobral doesn't look badly marked at all, but he's been on the canvas twice.
Yeah, Tony Badea looks a little bit more the worse for wear, that's for sure.
Tony looks very cautious, very deliberate, and he's not doing anything easily, Scotty?
The last 2 rounds may have helped get Sobral back into this fight.
Yes, I believe that the fight is as close to even as a fight can be when one guy's been on the canvas twice in the same round.
Well, you can be sure, John, that in both of the corners, the trainers really implored their fighters to go to work. This is the last 3 rounds of the fight. Go for it. Go ahead and do your job. This is for all the money.
That's why you're here, guys, and somebody's got to say $25,000 about this point, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say all you want about pride, but to do all this work and take this punishment for less than training expenses, that's pretty serious stuff. Right at the moment, Manny Sobral's hurt. Now he comes off fighting with his experience and his heart, but he took a big right hand and was rocked back into the ropes. He landed he missed with 2 right hands that looked like they landed, but they didn't. That one did.
And Manny Sobral just shot a real nice short right hand that caught Badea right on the cheekbone. It was a very good shot.
Another right hand to the chin that didn't land with great power, but was very precise by Sobral. Badea once again looks like he's ready to throw the right hand. He threw it with a little more purpose.
Right now, John, both fighters are into their second wins, and you'll see the last 2 rounds they'll both be picking up their momentum and really going for broke.
But it's interesting that now, rather than wrestle in the clinches, they touch and back away. They're both too tired for this pointless movement. Badea just took a big right hand. Hardest punch of the fight by Manny Sobral. Another big right hand. Badea is in his own corner in some trouble. Focus of Manny Sobral is incredible. He took a right hand.
Hard to pick a winner in this round, John.
It really is. Shot to the body. I think it was blocked by the glove, but it didn't look like it.
Very good right hand to the body. Those body shots late in a fight, they really take their toll, and they're more effective later on when you're already tired.
Badea's body language, Scotty, is really discouraging. I mean, if I'm a judge looking at this fight, I see Badea as a beaten fighter just by the way he carries himself. And it doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening with the punches. But his posture is gone, his hands are down, his mouth is open, he looks like he's very ill. This looks like the way he has been in some previous fights.
Oh, a tremendous right hand at the belt by Manny Sobral.
And at the moment, I've got to say that Manny Sobral's in charge of the fight.
Yes, I believe that, and that really hurt Tony Badea. That was a tremendous right hand by Manny Sobral. Beautiful shot, timed it perfectly, and Badea sort of was asking for it with his hand down so low. He's got to keep that hand up if he wants to stay in this fight.
It's a great fight. Now the only thing that frustrates me is as you watch Badea, you see a fighter who's not throwing punches. He's slapping with them, he's pawing with them, and Sobral is in charge at this moment.
You know, John, just when I thought that was a tremendous right hand, the fact of the matter is that right hand didn't land, but it may have looked to the judges on this side. I thought it landed. Prior to seeing the replay right there, the judges may have thought that landed.
But this is the point that we're making, Scotty. Badea looks like he's getting hit. Here we get another look at this right hand, and it did miss. It clearly missed, and the uppercut missed.
And Tony's legs buckled to make it look like the effect was that he landed it.
He was getting out of the way of a punch, and he just took a right hand. It did land that time. He is not prepared to go to war in the body. He was butted again. Now, they're taking a point from Manny Sobral in the 10th round of a war. It's very serious business. The butting, and there have been several. I'm happy that Don Smart noticed that the first one was a butt, and he's telling Sobral, stay in the corner, don't come over here. It was a battle. We knew it would be, because these camps don't like each other much. There have been some unpleasant things said by both sides.
Yeah, that was a bit of a headbutt, but it was unintentional. Manny Sobral was just trying to force the action.
But careless butts, unintentional or not, are penalized, as you know. And Tony is in great pain. The fight is over. This is going to be one of those that nobody will ever be happy with. The referee's got a decision to make. They're going to call it. They go to the cards, don't they? They go to the cards. Let's go to the monitor and we get a look. There's a butt. There's a clear butt, Scotty. You could see it.
Completely unintentional, but it was a butt.
A clear butt right on the eye, right on the wound, on the damaged eye. And Badea in great pain. Jim Monsees will be talking to. We certainly want Jim to talk to the referee when he gets a chance. And there are fighters to talk to, trainers to talk to. This has been quite an event. Tony Badea down on his haunches near his corner, talking to Jerome Coffey. Nobody can tell what's going through the mind of the fighter. The belt is in the ring. Does that mean that Tony gets it while sitting down? Does it mean that Manny Sobral gets it? The rules, I believe, are that at this stage of the fight, you go to the cards on an accidental butt. That's the answer from Jim Jerome. You go to the cards on an accidental butt. And Tony Badea, he lost a point. Manny Sobral lost 1 point that we know about. I believe it had to be a 3-point round when he was down twice, which means that he had to dominate the other 10 rounds of this fight to get a decision.
I see it that way too, John. It's going to be very interesting to see how the judges saw some of those other rounds, beside the point that the time where Manny Sobral lost the point and when he was knocked down.
You see the poignant picture, the moving picture of Manny Sobral smiling, grimly but smiling. Tony Badea still down on his haunches, unable to get up, unwilling to get up. Now he stands. He's a young man in pain. But if anything, this fight calls for a rematch. This is the kind of fight that any American network would be proud to show.
And give them $25,000 apiece.
Yes, not much science, but lots of heart, lots of fire, lots of power. As you called it early, Scott Olson, you said it would be a question of back and forth, trends in the fight. And that's what happened. I thought Sobral was in control early. I thought Badea came on a little bit. Then Badea got cut. Then Badea put Sobral down. Then Sobral came back and dominated. Then Sobral lost a point for what seemed to be an accidental butt, but clearly not the first accidental butt of the fight.
A fight of this magnitude, you're going to have both fighters trying to force the action, and clash of heads are inevitable. It's going to happen, but I know that it was completely unintentional.
And Sobral stands above us with giving the thumbs up sign. Does that mean that he got the decision? Does that mean he's happy with his performance? I don't know that anybody's even seen the cards yet, but we see, as we look off to our left, to the opposite of, to our right, I'm sorry, to the opposite of Badea's corner, we see some members of the Edmonton Boxing and Wrestling Commission in serious conversation. Heated? No, but intense, serious conversation. Jerome Coffey, who rarely looks grim, he has this talent for looking happy in the most difficult circumstances. He looks grim in that ring.
Well, there's a lot of tension up there now. There's a lot at stake. I'm not so sure that there's a possibility that Tony may have hurt a bit of an orbital bone. Sometimes that can happen when you land on the ridge, just
well,
over
you know that.
eyebrow.
You suffered severe eye damage yourself, so nothing that went on in the ring is unfamiliar to you. The referee, a very nice man named Don Smart, is he's covered in blood on his refereeing jersey. There's no way at this moment to do anything but guess. If it's hockey these days in this town, you call it speculation, but all we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is guessing. There is no way to tell what goes on.
Well, either way this decision goes, John, both fighters should be applauded for the tremendous performance that they displayed tonight.
Scott, I have to remind you of a statement you made over dinner before the fight. You said what would be terrible is for somebody to win this fight, lose the decision, and get less than training expenses. $25,000 winner take all. And we're very close to that. Each fighter has got a legitimate reason to complain.
You know, you're darn right, John. Who knows what this is going to do? Let's find out.
The match was stopped at 47 seconds of the 11th round due to an accidental butt, which did not permit Badea to continue. Under the rules, the bout is awarded to the boxer ahead on points on the scorecards. Judge Ken Newman scores at 97-92. Judge Ken Rund scores at 97-92. Judge Bill Warwick scores it 97-92. The winner by technical decision, and still Canadian champion, Manny Sobral.
You lose 4 points that we know about and win by 5. Somebody saw a different fight than I saw.
Well, you know, either way, I think that Badea will have a chance to regain a chance at this again, because this fight is deserving of a rematch. It was that high profile and that good of a fight.
Well, we're going to have to wait a minute because there's pandemonium in the ring. There's a lot of noise, a lot of people. I don't know what some of them are doing in there, but that's all right. We will see if we can find James Monsees. James, if you can hear me, over to you.
Canadian junior middleweight champion Manny Sobral. Manny, you fought a guy that you knew a lot about tonight. I think it's safe to say it was an absolute war.
It was a war, but I felt I was in control of the whole fight. I had him where I wanted him. Right at the 10th round, I hurt him bad, right over in that corner. Hit him with the right hand, left hook to the body. I knew he was hurt. It was only a matter of time those last 2 rounds, because I always finish really strong, so that's my forte. He caught me with the right hand. I went over on my ankle, I believe in the 6th, was it? 7th round. Went over my ankle. I didn't have total stability, so, you know, I was in a bit of trouble there, but I survived it. I learned from that fight, so, hey, bring him on.
I think your manager here, Mr. Jerry Gilroy, is probably on his toes as well. Jerry seen your guy go down twice in the 7th, but he came back. He was in tremendous shape.
He came back very strong, actually. I was very surprised. It proves what a great fighter he is. He did come up. He definitely was in control from then on, and it would have been a knockout had it gone on.
Manny, I got one more question to ask you here, Manny, before we let you go. It's a big win. It ends on a technical decision. Would you consider going into the ring one more time to settle this fair and square?
Why not? Well, I think it was settled fair and square right here, because in the 10th round I had him hurt bad. He was looking for a way out, because he's the guy that always grabs the back of my head and he's pulling me toward me. Hey, so he's headbutting me. He's looking for a way out. That's as far as I see it. I knew he was tiring. The 11th, 12th round are always my hardest. He knows that, so in the back of his mind, he knew he was going to get it. So he just looked for a way out, just like Galata does when he hits low.
A lot of animosity between the two of you after this fight. Do you still feel that animosity? You guys are still swearing at each other.
I don't feel any animosity, because I felt I won that fight quite easily. Sure, he hit me in the 7th round, but everyone gets caught. It's the true champions that get up and fight back harder, because I won the 8th, 9th round and the 10th round big, I thought. So I mean, that knockdown was just a surprise knockdown. I went over on my ankle. Actually, I'm going to probably have to ice my ankle, if anything. I don't think I have too many marks on my face. So I'm going to continue on from this and fight better, more experienced guys. That's all there is to it.
All right, Manny, thank you very much. Congratulations. I now want to head over and see if I can get a hold of Jerome Coffey. Tony, just 1 second here, if we can get Tony Badea to come over and talk to us here. Tony, it was what we talked about before, a real war. How did you see the fight?
I think the fight was more close than the referee put on their cards. He was down, he was hurt. The referee should have stopped him that time. All his shots, he was slugging all night long. What kind of teacher is that? What kind of teacher is that? I didn't learn nothing from him. I teach him how to go down. He was down, he was hurt. The referee should have stopped him.
Are you disappointed you didn't finish him off in the 7th?
The referee should still stop him. He was hurt. The referee should have stopped him. He headbutted me all night long. He was fighting dirty. Hey, what kind of teacher is that?
Well, thanks for your time, Tony, and continued success in the future. All right, gentlemen, we've got quite a bit of anarchy in the ring here. Let's go back to ringside with John and Scotty.
Well, thank you very much, James Monsees. Difficult time to conduct an interview. A lot of noise, a lot of hard feelings all over the place. You heard it, Scotty, in the simplest language. Tony Badea says that he was headbutted all night long, that the referee should have stopped the fight. Manny Sobral says that Tony Badea was looking for a way out. They both say that they think they won the fight. I think they should do it again.
Let's do it again, John. And I'm not the one stepping in the ring doing it, but I feel that would be a tremendous battle one more time, and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't even better than this one.
I would love to talk to Jerome Coffey and some other people, but we just don't have time to do that. I just want to say thank you to a lot of people. My friend Scott Olson, you have taught me so much about this game and so much about class, and you are a great tribute to our community. I know you're going to fight in September. I hope the building's full. I hope we get a chance to watch these young men fight again very soon. And I want to say thank you to some people before we get out of here. I want to say thanks to Jim Jerome, who did a good job in the ring, as he always does. And thanks to James Monsees, who jumped into the ring for us between bouts and got some incisive quotes and some incisive comments. And as always, thank you to Jerry Gilroy, who gave us an opportunity to do this and who provided an outstanding show for us. Let's do it quickly. Mario Lachowski of Edmonton defeated Torrance Brown in a 6-round decision, first of 4 bouts on the night. Rupert Thomas, Scotty Olson's fighter, won by knockout over Troy Roberts in a heavyweight slugfest. It was a war. Ron Pasek won a clear decision over Robbie Stoll in a junior middleweight 8-rounder. And in the main event, it was stopped at 47 seconds of the 11th round due to an accidental butt. And Manny Sobral, who had been on the floor twice in the same round, the 7th round, won rather handily on the cards, 97-92 on all 3 cards. He retains the Canadian Championship. I'm John Short with my friend Scott Olson. I hope we do it again very soon for you and for us right here on Shaw. Thanks again, everybody, and good night.